Hey, Wembo World Entertainment, and of course, Comic-Con was last weekend, and we had tons of crap coming out of it, and it was literally crap. There was nothing to get excited about. That includes Robert Downey Jr.'s return. But there was one panel there that seems to have gotten swept under the rug that nobody's really talking about. And it was the panel that involved Russell T Davies of Doctor Who and Alex Kurtzman of fake Star Trek, because I ain't calling that Star Trek what he's pumping out. And of course, the questions came around to being, of course, about identity politics and all the usual BS that just get fired out. And Russell T Davies didn't let the mask slip. No, he completely removed it to show his true agendas, because he flat out said the trans right agenda was more important to him than Doctor Who. He's actually said that. So there's an article, and we have the video that shows him actually saying this. So it's not like we're misunderstanding what he says and stuff. Oh no. We hear as plain as day what he says. So let's have a look at the article, and then we'll look at the video to see what he was saying. So it says, Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies recently claimed that trans rights are 1,000,000 times more important than what's happening with Doctor Who. During an appearance at San Diego Comic-Con alongside Star Trek's Destroyer, Alex Kurtzman, Davies was asked by moderator Krisha Hatchett, with so many online opinions and fans having very strong feelings about your projects, how do you play the balance act of, yes, we want to do something that fans love, but also focus on the story and getting it right and telling the best story that you possibly can? Now, how you get asked a question like that to the answer he gives really makes no sense. But here is what his answer was to this. And it's just the mask being ripped off completely. Here is what he said.
I don't go online much. Maybe I should. Maybe that's wrong. I'm talking about Twitter, or X, mainly as the portal online. I don't feel particularly safe as a gay man. I mean, increasingly, I think that's worse in society. I see what's said out there, and that's a long discussion all the time, but I'm not happy to be part of that. So that's tricky. So that stops you online in many ways. Or we could spend your whole life on there. So I get my agent tells me what's going on. I get people kind of here in every there's kind of osmosis with what's, the culture wars or whatever kind of creep through. To be honest, in terms of online activity, I'm much more interested in what's happening. I think Doctor Who's fine. Doctor Who, well, how can I say this? It's like, I think there are things happening in the culture wars, particularly with trans rights these days, that are 1,000,000 times more important than what's happening with to be forced, and it's getting worse. It's terrifying. So,
you're fighting some of those battles on the show just by the representation.
So you hear it there from the man himself. His exact words were, "I think Doctor Who's fine. I think there are things happening in the culture wars, particularly with trans rights these days, that are 1,000,000 times more important than what's happening with Doctor Who. It's getting worse. It's terrifying." Now, it's crazy to hear that his whole focus with the thing was to shove this stuff in there to make it more normal for kids. And that was what he said. He wanted to make it normalized for kids. Now, he's gone and destroyed Doctor Who. The guy who came in originally and saved it has now come back and destroyed it. It's almost like that he who giveth can take it away moment. And he shoved all the trans crap in there. Now, the fact that he's saying it's getting worse and it's terrifying and all this type of crap is interesting when we've just seen what happened at the Olympics. Yes, with this trans boxer who went in and punched the Italian boxer so hard in the face he broke her nose. I believe there was something about blood being found in her throat or something. But after the first couple of hits, she called it. She was like, no, I'm done. 46 seconds in. And they're sitting there now trying to say, oh, it's not a trans problem. Of course it is. How can you put a biological man... Oh, you know what? We're not talking about that. We're talking about this crap. Because we can go down a slippery slope when we go down that one. But then Kurtzman then chimed in. And he said, you're fighting some of those battles on the show just by representation. That's from the very person who said Star Trek is about using the brand as a platform to tell their messages. And he's saying, oh, you're fighting the battles by representation. How exactly are you fighting the whole battles with representation? You're shoving this shit into the shows that people loved for decades, destroying the shows, then calling the very people who made those shows the success that they are and had the longevity that they've had. You're calling them racist, sexist, bigots, homophobes, transphobes, all that crap. And it's like, no, you're shoving your identity politics into shows that should have nothing to do with it. How can you stick that crap in a show with aliens, and then when we reject it, you go, oh, you're just transphobic and you're this and you're that? It's like, we're literally watching a show with different species, and yet you're trying to call us racist and all this crap because we don't want your messaging put into our entertainment. You are clowns. You are the monkey in the court that has to dance. Dance for us, monkey, dance. That's what yous are. You're not the government. You're not some higher being and higher presence. Your word is not the gospel. You are the clown that has to dance for us, to entertain us. That's it. That's all you are. So to sit there and say we're fighting these battles by putting representation into these programs, and how exactly then do you claim to win the battles when no one watches? Everyone turns off, tunes out, your shows go to shit, your ratings go into the toilet, your shows get cancelled and whatnot. Do you think you won the battle by being able to go, oh, see, it's because they're all bigots? No, you failed, and you're still failing. Nobody wants this crap. There'll be people who jump into the comment section and go, no, yous are just being... Yeah, you jump in and say what you want, because at the end of the day, you know we're right. Do you honestly want to sit there and say it was justified to have a biological male stand in a boxing ring and punch with all their force a woman in the face? You honestly want to say that that's the battles you were fighting for? You're fighting for the right for that type of shit to happen, and they're doing it by shoving it into our shows, our entertainment, to try and make it more normal to kids. By the way, what kid is watching modern day Star Trek? You wouldn't want your kids watching that crap, that dark, dystopian, violent, vulgar version of Star Trek. It's ridiculous. So Russell T Davies, go away. Take your little activist brain, your little, oh, trans rights are a million times more important, blah 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 blah. Well, fuck off with your trans rights and your gay rights and all your other shit. Yous were given your rights and then you just kept taking. You wanted more and more and more, and that's all that keeps happening. And at this stage, the pushback that's happening is deserved to be happening, because yous have pushed it too fucking far now. That's the end of the argument. You've taken it too far. You wanted, you took, then you wanted more, you took, and then you just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. So it's no wonder your shows have failed. It's no wonder nobody's tuning in, and it's no wonder everybody's pushing back against you and calling you out, because you deserve it. You get what you fucking deserve. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So cheers, like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.